So this is a good time to start. Sneak right in on the quiet part.
Aha.
Well, sneak right in. Okay, I'm sneaking in on you, and there you go. So, yes, it's Tuesday. Super Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
What's so super about it?
I don't know. What is?
Well, there's cool things. I mean, I got the Vernon Kelton thing moving in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy about that. Oh, wait, where am I? We got Craig Dreyer tonight.
Right.
And here I am. Here's me. Hi. I feel like, no, I don't. Yeah, well, we've got some holiday things coming down the pike. We want everybody to please take pictures of your Thanksgiving so that we can show them Free for All Friday. Free for All Friday, Thanksgiving, brag out. Something, whatever, you know. Not a lot of pictures. I mean, I don't want to see Uncle Bozo passed out in Dad's chair, and Dad's like, don't want to see that.
I see pictures of the food.
So, yeah, food pictures. I mean, you can send any pictures you want, but I'm really asking to see pictures of the food. Am I good?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
What happened?
Don't even ask.
What happened?
Nothing.
Did something happen?
Same thing that happens every time since you changed it.
Oh, refresh. What? Wait a minute. Guys, listen here. No. I'll be right back, please. I'm weightless, so I'm just going to float right over here just for a minute and fix the problem here. Because apparently, over on this side of the ship where there are no cameras, stuff doesn't always happen the way we want it to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't...
And nothing happens the way it's supposed to happen.
And what? Somehow this is my fault?
Stop!
I'm floating back over here.
I'm like, you gotta change it back, or...
I change it back to what?
The way we used to do it.
It is not I that have...
Yes.
Can you read this?
Can you read it on here?
I'm sure I can. This is, I thought... Wow, look at this.
Wow.
This live performance should start very soon.
Yeah.
We're
supposed to have started
for
3 minutes ago.
We're gonna go. This is what it's about, really. What it's really about, because
no, it's not.
Yes, it is. Because the truth of the matter is, you're on stage. If something goes wrong on stage, you can do one of two things. You can freak out and look like a whack job, or you can not freak out and look like your stuff broke.
It happens every single night. You don't go on stage anymore until you get a new one.
No, not until you get a new. That's
yes,
not how
a
it
new
works.
one, or
you know
until your
what?
roadie fixes it. So fix it, roadie.
Wow.
Yeah.
The next sound that you will hear
is frustration from me.
That's, you know what?
What? You can't even find it.
I can find it. It's just, you've
yeah.
got this, there it is right there. Right there. Look, right there.
Is that tonight?
I sure hope so. It looks like tonight to me. Save her, people. So anyway, like I was saying, we would love to see
your Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah.
Are some of you already
spread.
prepping?
Yeah. It already smells like it should be cold outside, and it was so cold we had to open the windows.
It's gorgeous here.
Yeah, it is. This is why. This is the part of the ticket. What?
Nothing.
What's wrong now?
Go away.
I am. I can't go any farther away. I bang into the side of the craft.
Other side, and that way I can't see the people.
I don't know what you like. I have no idea. That looks like people to me.
Because now I found it over here.
Well, how am I somehow responsible for that?
Close the curtain. What does that mean? Close the curtain. What are you talking about? Loud and clear. What if nobody's hearing us? I'm confused.
Okay.
Yeah, that cake is delicious, and you wanted to make sure Remy got some.
That is a scary ass thing. And I knew somehow, I knew somehow something told me about 12:30 this morning that
what?
I better go check on the cake.
No, that was me.
I know who it was. That's why I had the feeling, and I just didn't feel like getting up.
I did the midnight pie caking.
Strafing run.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I did.
You did.
But we still have some left over, and we ate some last night while we were watching TV, and Remy got some. He likes the buttercream frosting.
Yes, he likes the buttercream frosting.
So, it's being enjoyed by all, and there's still plenty left.
Then there is still plenty left. So,
that was very thoughtful.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. Again, that was, and still is.
Yeah.
Probably for maybe another hour. No.
Why are they saying, what's a ghost? I don't understand.
What?
I don't know. Maybe it's when, see now, okay.
What?
He's scheduling the show like a week at a time. And so if you notice, there's not the cool colors for each show now.
Oh, that's not. Oh.
Yep, and for some reason, it's not coming up on my computer.
I see.
Phone.
Okay, let me give you the
So
part of this part of the
say
ship.
Hello to everybody.
She without.
Ooh, Sue, I don't blame him.
When it looks the same, but it says something different, that requires her to read. And so she just keeps going up and back and up and back, and she keeps saying seeing the same picture, and this doesn't work. And it takes me 5 minutes to find my way out of wherever she just took me on my Facebook page.
I can't read because I grew
No, I'm not saying you can't read.
You're the one that went to the bad kid school.
Wait a minute. Am I saying you can't read because of where you went to school?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying you don't read. Can't read.
I'm the one that does do the reading.
What?
Whenever.
All right.
Whenever there's instructions, I read when you want to go right past the instructions. Anyway. We got some exercise this morning because it was gorgeous out.
Oh, it was gorgeous out.
So Steve was power washing our sidewalk because down here it gets like, what would you call that?
Slimy?
Well, it gets like a black thing, and if it rains, then it becomes slimy. Mousy Stars. Thank you, Mousy.
Oh, Mouse, how are you? Yeah. There I am. Rocking like a
hurricane.
Star. Okay.
So Steve was power washing.
So, but...
And I was mowing the lawn with
I'm power washing because we have a pretty serious power washer. And...
It broke.
It broke.
It
worked for like a long time. It was really good, and if you do it right, then all you have to do, every once in a while, and it's good exercise. You're walking around the property, you're seeing what's going on in the different places instead of like hanging out indoors.
Hey man, I don't mean to interrupt.
But then what?
It's 9 after. Do we have to show pictures of?
We can show pictures. Take it
Craig
easy.
Dreyer, who's coming in a minute.
Take it easy.
We just like go off in our own world here.
Yeah, well, that's true. But here, well, you know what? I'm happy to show pictures of them. This
Okay,
is
so this
Angus
is,
does these now. It's really it
Yeah,
really
he
does
has
help.
played with
really,
Warren Haynes.
yeah, Warren Haynes. Who the last time I saw Warren Haynes, it was him and Matt Apps, and John Entwistle was playing bass on a session to do. I think
And we
Fish
saw him
was
with the
there.
Allman Brothers at Radio City.
Yeah, but that was I think before John did the session. I don't know.
And Craig has also played with Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it was with the Expensive Winos.
I wonder if it was with Charlie,
Charlie,
and Steve. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out because guess what?
What?
Here he is.
Good thing we showed.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's a good thing that you.
I'm producing.
Yeah, you're a producer.
Hello.
Craig.
I come in peace.
Good. You look like you're in a spaceship.
I am.
Yes.
I am. I decided I wanted to. I didn't want to be doing the outdoor, fountains or the green screen, whatever it is. So I just decided to launch up here into the old Coppola Observatory on the space station, and everybody would feel more comfortable with me out here.
That's right.
Okay. Nice to see you.
Nice to be seen.
So,
I'm in my own space station
yep.
Yeah.
studio.
Oh yeah, I have a space station. Well, man, we're gonna have some fun with because we can do a docking maneuver.
Ah.
What do you what is the digital audio portion of your capsule?
I have a Pro Tools HDX rig, but that's not the fun stuff. Fun stuff is the Tudor 827.
Oh, 2-inch, nice.
Oh man, you got a rocket.
Wow, you really.
Run 2-inch. I have like 5 tape machines. I have 2. That's my 827 and 24 track. I have 2 810s, mixed 2, and I have a couple of Revox B77s for slap.
Wow, and where are you in the world again?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
right.
New York, the center of the universe, man.
That's right. Book
Kind
of
of my
Kings.
universe, anyway.
Is it
Well-
Brooklyn?
Leave New York. I like it too much. I'm from here, but I still like it too much.
Clark is in Brooklyn.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Okay,
my
yeah.
bro.
Clark, right?
Clark.
Yeah, me and Clark have done a lot of sessions and gigs together. We do a thing. We do this lately. We've been doing this cool tribute to the Crusaders.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
And that's actually really happening. That's really fun because me and Clark we used to play for this older blues guy named Bill Sims, who's kind of really he passed. He was like well regarded, sort of like around the New York blues scene. He was like everybody's favorite uncle kind of thing. And we used to do.
I know the breed, man. I respect. I know the breed.
Yeah, I mean, some guys. I mean, I came up with Bill too. I remember, I remember Bill in the old days, partying days, but before he became sort of the friendly older uncle. But Clark, we would always open with this tune called "Way Back Home," Crusader, and I was just like, man, we sound like the fucking Crusaders. Can I? Oh, I said effing. I hope that's okay.
That's
But
okay.
I sound like the Crusaders.
Beep.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, good. All right.
That's sad. If the producer says it's okay, that's Lori, my wife and producer of
Hi, Craig.
Mayhem and all kinds
Yeah.
of shit. Oh, that's cool, man. I mean,
So I
it's,
figured, so we always, we used to play this tune and sound so much like the Crusaders. I said, why don't we just do a night where we do it? And that's what we do. We do it, a few times a year, and really fun.
Clark's very funny.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he is funny, man. And
Yeah.
I understand what it's like to have that kind of history with another musician. And the longer that I do the show, look, I've been in it as long as anybody who's still pretty much playing and doing whatever. But it's it's a life commitment, as you know, and part of it is trying to remember what it was I was even talking about.
Him doing it with Clark.
I know. It's the chemistry that goes through. It's the chemistry that you build up, kind of the dependability on one another musically, to know where you're going to go and be able to read somebody before they make a turn. That's invaluable.
Yeah. Well, also, I don't know what it is, but like sometimes in a horn section, it's like some guys you can. Some guys more than others, you could just really like, particularly playing like a long single note together. Sometimes with some guys, it's just really easy to find each other and play it perfectly in tune and the same. And like, I try to play tenor with a bone player. I always try to make it like a fuzzy trombone, you know what I mean? And so with Clark, Clark's one of the best guys around. With Clark, easy to do. It's really easy to play. I mean, like, there's a couple of tunes in the Crusaders book that we do that are like just long notes, like we just tune So Far Away, yeah. No, wait. Yeah, So Far Away. And the Crusaders version is this long, these long notes in it. And it's just unison. And it's really easy to find we find each other's pitch and lock on. It just sounds like one instrument, really easily. And that's not always, that's always what you can do. Even with great players, not everyone always,
That makes me ask a question. Because, and as I said, I've been doing the show, I've been playing in a rock band since I was 13 years old. But, you can never stop learning. And the thing, when you're playing with another horn player, regardless of what it is, you can adjust your pitch, or your pitch is just like in a rhythm section between the bass player and the drummer. We either know where one is, each other's one, or we don't. But that's just natural like time.
Yeah, something like. If there's a trumpet, I'm always trying to follow the trumpet. If in while we're doing section stuff, I'm trying to follow the trumpet. We all should be. Usually that's what seems to me the best way to go. Different guys have different. It's not a synth, not playing with synths. So certain guys might have notes that are a little sharper, but usually sharper, and so then you just find it. But it's like, for example, I got into a thing with recording horns in here. There was this guy, Tim Wimett, who's a trumpet player and taught me a lot. He's older than me, and he played with Ray Charles and Ray Barretto and did big gigs in the 70s, and still he's around. I just haven't seen him so much lately. But like we had, when I first built the studio, I happened to have a house upstate, and we built it in the basement kind of thing, and so we had all this. We were up. He was living upstate. And I had this country house up there with the studio in it. And so then we just said, let's try all these different ways of miking horns. We tried all these different ways. In the end, what we settled with, and this is a long story, but it makes sense. We used an SM2, a stereo tube mic, the Neumann SM2, and we just put the horns around it. And we found that good players, mix themselves and intonate themselves so much faster just together in a group live. And that we get the best section stuff that way, and the best intonation and the best balance. Sometimes, if the trumpet's too loud, he's got to turn away or play quieter. And if the tenor's too low, you move a little closer, or you play a little louder, or whatever. And you do all these adjustments as fast as thought in your brain. It's not something you can't mix and, fast enough or intuitively enough. So that's what we found. Like when we do horns here, that's kind of what we do.
So you do them essentially live. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I've done horn parts on a keyboard with samples and a really great library, and no matter what, I don't know if I'm composing something. I don't know
library horns.
Yeah, but it's amazing what the pitches do, you know, and how they react to one another. And I've learned so much about it. There's no like mediocre horn guys around. Everybody's a freaking monster,
Yeah.
and that's pretty cool. Only the strong survive.
I guess. Or weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's a fun. I like that stuff. I geek out on that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm like retro dude anyway, and I like, you know, but it's really fun. We've been like, we did stuff remotely during the pandemic, and it came out good, but it's not the same. I like it when we play all in the same room. I mean, you know, but when we do it that way, I always get the trumpet part first. I write everything, and then we've been calling Barry Donnelly in a lot. Do you know Barry?
Yeah.
Barry
I know who he is.
part,
Yeah.
they do the Bruce Springsteen thing, so we get Barry, and then I usually Clark played to Barry, and then I played both of them. I'll play it to Barry. We did a bunch of that stuff remotely, but it was more fun to be in the same room.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I you know, if you let me know.
You know, when we're all in the same room.
Yeah, I'd love to all be in the same room. That's that's my room here, my rooms, whatever it is. But it's the only way I've been able to make any music is remotely. It's been I haven't. The closest thing that I came to being in a studio that isn't mine with somebody who I'm not related to is I had to do some DAT transfers. I had DAT masters of things, and I had 4 in a row DAT machines just crap out on me. Thankfully, not eating any of the tape, but man, 4 until I found a studio here. I'm in Fort Myers, Florida, and the guy he's a New York guy, and he's one of those guys that if it says get it spec'd out every 6 months, he's that guy. So I finally got my transfers done. But
it's so funny. Some guy called me today to transfer. We pull it out once in a while.
to transfer what you cut out there.
I called me today to transfer some DATs. Yeah, out of the blue. Funny coincidence. I've opened up my DAT machine for. But you know what? Well, I got another guy last year. Every once in a while, I get these people will call. They want to transfer old 2-inch tapes a lot too, but I send them to a place called Dubway. I don't bake tapes anymore or deal with it. It's too much of a headache. But Dubway does. They have it down to a science, and they do it for cheap. There's some that whole market got just sort of eroded. Some people started just doing it for so cheap. It used to be a big thing to transfer someone's tape. It was like we're going to treat it like a mastering science project, and it was a big expensive thing. Now, cats started just baking the tape and like for $25 a tape, and they just.
I remember you had to get your tapes.
Yeah, I had to get some 2 inches done.
And it cost a lot of money.
And it was right, because now
Not anymore. You just send them Dubway for $25. They run your tape off, and they do a good job too. I've had clients come back in with the Pro Tools files. So, I mean.
Well, all right. So let me ask you a question then, just because what if I came there and I had a 2-inch tape? How would you know if it was going to shed all over your machine or not? Or
I'd ask you what formula it was. If it's old, if it's like Ampex
456.
If it's Ampex 456 and it hasn't been played in all these years, it's probably going to shed, I would say. I mean, maybe GP9 won't shed, I haven't pulled out a roll of GP9. I just stopped doing it because all the old Ampex basically sheds now to some level or the other, unless someone kept it. And it's called hydrolyzing. Do you know what that is? It's actually moisture gets in there, and there's guys, I know this stuff fairly well. I mean, I can do azimuth on a tape machine. I can align. I'm like, but I mean, there's, you talk to Bob Duster or Dan Zellman, they're geniuses at all this stuff, level. But basically, any of the Ampex stuff. I mean, now it's all over 20 years old. I mean, the GP9, Wanna GP9, that stuff. I have a couple of reels. That stuff was more, I think, would last a long. But even that, probably by now, it's been a long time. We use basically now everybody uses ATR, and there's this French guys are making this thing called RTM, which is recording the masters, but it's based on the BASF, which became RMG. You know, that whole and those formulas, the 900 and the 910, and the tape is good. I actually did a really cool shootout. I mixed down a analog record, it's all tape straight to, and then I got this new RMG. The RTM, right, which used to be RMG, which used to be BSF, right. So I shot out ATR at 15 and 30 IPS and these two formulas, and I have it. You know, I've sent the files around to other engineers who were interested, and you can just, you know, open it up in your Pro Tools session and solo, and you can hear the difference between 15 and 30 and between RTM and ATR.
So what? I mean,
close.
What are you hearing at 15, or what are you hearing at 30? I mean, I know you hear more high end at 30 and more tape, you know, more low end compression at 15.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like, actually, I mean, I didn't really. I mean, I ran it at pretty pretty conservative levels. I didn't slam it. So in terms, you can't really hear much difference in the compression of it. I run +6 over, no, +3 over, and on the I didn't slam it, but you hear on 30 on the ATR in particular, you hear it's still brighter.
But I would be flying by the instruments. I mean, you know, I've been playing on stage live with a frickin' Hurricane for decades. I'd be lucky. What's that?
What's a Hurricane?
It's a sound that the wind could make that will will take you down a notch.
Yeah.
You'll see. It's a phenomenon. Do you hear that real high pitched sound?
That's a Hurricane.
I'm playing with you, man. I used to, you know, it's funny. Now we're in the digital times and you can't really get away with a lot of shit. But back in the olden days, I used to sound at where I was saying, and I would fuck with them that way.
I don't
What's
think
that?
Yeah, man. So what is the desk behind you?
That's a Trident.
Trident.
Not super fancy. Sort of
but
yes.
it's I would have. That's my.
You want the tour? You want the dime tour?
Yeah, give us yeah, absolutely. We love this part.
What's the dime tour?
the viewers love it.
Look at that shit.
You have the Trident console. There's the tape machine.
Nice.
There's the Trident console. And in here I got and this is a vocal booth. I have two of these 810s. I got, a spare downstairs. That's what I mixed to. 1/4 inch.
Nice.
That's here for the gear geeks. There's a 64 Deluxe.
Oh, I know a couple of people that are groaning right now. Yeah.
Yeah. How about this? For the keyboard ones, that's the original Prophet 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got some cool shit. Look at this. This is this sounds great on Bone. Get Clark on this bad boy. Wait.
See, this is where it's
844.
Oh, look at her.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
wow.
That's just some of the shit.
That's nice, man.
Yes, I use Revox. I use my Revox. That's my slap machine. For slap delay. I use that on my mixes there. Here, I'll show you the rest of them. Like there's a real clav.
Oh, B3, the real deal.
Yeah,
And an RV 122 and a mini mode.
Yeah, and a pump organ. It's a B15S.
Ampeg.
Old 50 Supro. 72 Super.
Oh, super reverb.
That's a 65 Sparkle, Ludwig Sparkle kit. There's a JMP 50, and it's a little dark over there. There's a grand piano here. My Barry's on top of the
oh, nice.
on top of the piano, because when I'm done, I got to practice some Barry. Wurlitzer and the Rhodes.
Wurlitzer and a Rhodes.
Yeah, the weird clock.
Oh, I have the weird clock. Don't I have the weird clock in here?
Weird clock.
That one.
Yeah, then I have some.
That's beautiful, man. What a good space. I have the weird clock. My weird clock is kind of smashed, but I have it.
Oh, it's like I dig it.
Well, on its way over here, it still had the cymbal and the snare drum and the hi-hat, but this is, it's
here's the other part.
Yeah, this is it's
apart.
yeah. But hey, man, that looks like a great space to create. That's awesome. Mine, the thing that I showed you before, mine is I don't know. I guess it's more like if you were a drummer, which I just happen to be, and where was that shot? Where is it? It's here. Is this here?
So I would think that Craig has a professional recording studio.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, mine is just so I can get great drum sounds and write, and that's a C24, and the rest of the gear, and it's Pro Tools, and it's just the thing for me is to be able to have my gear set up that, and it's got to be the same for you, because I have a couple of friends that play sax, and that you're not just plugging into somebody's Pro Tools rig with a sax and getting your sound.
Well, you just play no mic.
Yeah, well, I know that, but some people.
Remember, we had Crispin CO on,
right?
And he said he couldn't send you any piece unless he went into a studio. Him and John Scarpullet both said.
But that might have been because he didn't have the facility or the equipment, not because he didn't know how.
No, because he didn't have.
I know Crispin.
Yeah. He's cool.
Yeah. I remember him one night on Bleecker Street a long time ago. The first time I met him, I showed up at the gig, and I left my reeds. I had no reeds to play, and I was like, oh, fuck. I couldn't play, and I went walking down the street, and that's when Bleecker Street in New York had a bunch of clubs. There's only one or two left. There used to be about 6. I just went walking down the street, and then Crispin was playing around the corner, and I'm like, dude, do you have a tenor sax reed I could borrow? He gave me a reed. I forget what it was. I think it was like a weird thing too. It was like a plastic, one of these weird plastic cover ones. I think that was a thing for a bit. And that was very nice of him.
No, wow, nice. He's very nice.
And I don't know a lot about it, but that's where my whole musical history began, was in the orchestra. The classical training of you have to know this and that and the other thing, and it was
high school.
Yeah, no, in elementary school. It started in 4th grade, and we had an orchestra, and there was very, very much an emphasis on music, and I was exposed to a lot of things, and part of it was like the duality between the sax and the reeds, or the sax and the brass, and I don't know, it was cool to hear those people talk their language that I didn't understand. I was a percussion guy. I don't know about trimming reeds or whatever they do.
I learned something from Craig. I've never heard a trombone called a bone. That's just cool.
Yeah, and she's from New Orleans, so go figure that one out.
We always just called it bone. I don't know what. Yeah, you just call it bone.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know how that. Yeah. I played with this dude though. It's funny. Like, there's some people really don't like horn talk. I remember playing with James Hunter. And he basically, do you know this guy, James Hunter?
I think so, yeah.
He's English, like, retro soul guy. He's great. I really like him, but he definitely, if he hated it if you talked horn shit. He really didn't like that. he's like, I can't do his accent, but he basically would, he would just ridicule the shit out of you. You started talking geeky horn shit. So it was basically not allowed in the bus.
Wow.
He was the first guy he called me a Nancy, which I thought was pretty great. Nobody had called me, and he couldn't use the C word, because he called everybody a cunt too, which was pretty funny. He'd be like talking to anyone. He'd be like, hey mate, something. All right, goodbye, bye now, see ya. And he'd hang up and he'd go, cunt.
They do that in England a lot.
Yeah, that's.
He called me a Nancy because I didn't want to carry gear or something.
Oh, hey man, you know what? If you
and I'm a gear carrying motherfucker. I mean, when I play key, I also play keys. I bring a fucking Leslie, I bring the whole shit. I'm a geek. So
yeah, if it ain't real.
I liked it. I like that. I like the new slang. He also he had all these great slang things. His English slang is pretty hilarious. But yeah, he didn't want us to talk. We're not allowed to talk horn geek stuff. So we just, but I'm not one of those. I'm actually, I'm a rocker first, I'm not a jazzer. Some of the jazzers get more like geeky. I geek out. I have the same Mark VI tenor that I've had since 1984. And, it's the best horn you could get, I think, still, but I got one as a kid, and I don't really geek out too much on that stuff, but I geeked out on my studio equipment. But once I got it all done, then now I'm done. I try not to, though. I'm starting to get into hi-fi. Are you into hi-fi?
No, not yet. No.
It's bad. It's like, it's not, I bought a VPI turntable. Do you know this company?
Yeah.
So I bought a really nice turntable. Now I need a better amp, and it's like you get a hunger because the shit sounds so good,
Okay, so let me rephrase. I remember hi-fi.
Well, hi-fi is, records are, people are getting. I mean, I pretty much was always into records. I had a little period in there where I sold all my records as a kid, but then I got back into analog also with this guy. This guy Rob Forboni.
That sounds familiar.
Rob's the guy. I learned all my engineering chops and things from this guy Rob. He produced. He famously produced the Last Waltz soundtrack and like the last few band records. Like he did Planet Waves and Northern Lights, Southern Cross. He's worked with everybody, Stones and stuff. And I lost where I was. Anyway, yeah, he got me back into the whole analog thing, and he taught me how to record on tape and stuff. And so it's just it's a feel thing, and records are coming back. And man, you can order shit online, and oh God. And I bought this really expensive VPI turntable, and it sounds so good. I geek out. I have these Grado headphones I really like. They're really nice. And I really like to listen to, even though I'm a rocker, I mostly play blues rock and funk and et cetera, and some jazz and retro soul kind of vibes and all these things. But at home, I love to listen to classical music, and because I love to listen to these recordings of big spaces with maybe just a stereo mic or just a couple of mics, and then really geek out on what you can hear in the space. It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's so is it hi-fi because I remember, talk about going back to sound. I come from the other side of that, right? I remember when my brother brought home this box that had a red light on it, and when you hit like a stereo station, all of a sudden you heard that stereo. It was all and then wham, and so the amazement of that, like for the first time as a little kid, stereo, high fidelity, whatever. I was immersed in it all, and I wanted to create it. I wanted to play it. So
yeah, of course. It's this weird thing that we are all chasing. It's just like, all this stuff. With what I'll tell you, my little analog digital story that I tell people. I had, like all of us, we all got CDs, and my I had sold my records, and they were a hassle and a scratch and fucked up. I didn't really take care of them as a kid, and blah blah blah. Even though I had a lot of really good records and I sold a lot of them, and then so I started having studio gear and started buying some shit, and then 20 something years ago, and then a guy left a record player, like a DJ kind of record player, because they were going to do some scratching or something, and I had just happened to buy a Junior Walker record at a yard sale for some reason, because I never had this record called Moody Jr. I never had that one as a kid, and I was like, "Wow, that's cool." I just saw it and I bought it. I didn't even have a record player at the time. So this guy leaves this record player, and I had a Pro Tools rig in this basement upstate that I had, our country house, and I was buying some shit, and buying some mics, starting to buy some mics and stuff, and so I put on I plugged the record player in. I put this Junior Walker tune on, and tears sprang to my eyes immediately. And it wasn't a sad song or something, but I immediately knew what had happened to me. It was so clear that I'd been listening to so much digital music, and then the analog hit me so in my heart, so strongly, and it was I instantly knew. And then since then, I bought tape machines again, and we make records all the way. I mean, not everybody does it or wants to do it, but when I produce a record, I like to make it analog all the way to vinyl, no computers at all. And if I can, and music supports that too. Some stuff obviously doesn't make sense anymore to make it that way, but I'm sort of chasing that. And I find that the records that I make that way are the ones that, I don't know, when I listen to them 10 years later or 5 years later, that still feel good to me. It's about a feeling. I mean, we all know the problems with, we know the problems with tape. We know about noise. We know about, it's awesome to edit all these things this way. But I still think there's still something about the feel of it that, I mean, I could go into the science of it, too, but it's an emotional thing. And in the end, I don't know about you, but for me, I do this stuff because I like it. If I wanted to make money and it was about that or whatever, I could have worked for my dad's insurance company and I'd have a bigger apartment, but I like this stuff, and I just want it. And then, it's like, I'm looking at buying I bought this expensive, I'm like, want to buy this $7,000 Macintosh fucking preamp now. I'm like looking at this thing, it's like, it's like an addiction, you just want it to sound that way. That you get that feeling when it happens, right? It's like when you're on a really good gig and everything sort of, it's like sparkling and it's all really good. And, it's like put on one of these good records made really well. And,
I grew up in White Plains, New York, and
sure.
we had, and we're talking 60s, late 50s, early 60s, we had a place called Sound Exchange on East Post Road. And it was a listening room for like those guys that had, you know what I mean? From
Right,
back
sure.
in the day. And you go in there and, think about the time, where we are technologically. There you are, you're back. And to go in there and hear these beautifully matched speakers it was a remarkable time to hear things. It was,
Yeah. I mean, and now is too, the thing is these people are making incredible stuff. And because of the vinyl is coming back, so the record players are going through the roof. I mean, this technology is incredible. I mean, it's pretty astonishing,
Well, if you have I'm happy to say that I just signed a 2-record deal with a label that wants to do a vinyl edition of what I've got.
Well, for me, the only point of vinyl is if it's all analog the whole way, or else to me, vinyl is just like a digital. I mean, if you make a digital record and put it on vinyl, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Lowest common denominator. Well, our stuff was all done. It was amazing. The reason I got a turntable is because I had a friend pass away, and I inherited all of his acetates. from the 60s.
Oh, wow.
And you want to hear something amazing, listen to what guys were going home. That was before we had cassettes to go home with, right? I mean,
Right.
and it was so that was the real sound of real. And I knew that I didn't want to play these things more than once, so I dialed them all in, punched them all up, and patched them in, and recorded it all. And amazing. Even though it goes down to a disc, the source is still, you can still hear the source.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's that time.
Oh,
Time
I have
for
to
an
play.
ad,
I have to
then the
play a
questions.
commercial.
Yeah.
Did I just give you the all career defining commercials?
What's that?
Questions. I said,
Commercials or questions?
No, he
yeah,
messed up.
both.
He
Whatever you
messed
like.
up.
Questions about commercials, commercial questions. No,
it's questions.
I'm gonna do a commercial, a very entertaining commercial for about a minute, and then I'll come back and ask you the questions whether you're ready for them or not. How's that?
Okay.
All right. I'll meet you back here in a minute.
Okay.
Hey, Brad, I hear those sleigh bells are ringing, and that gets me thinking.
Really, Colby? That's a surprise.
We all know spectacular holiday moments begin at Bradley's Jewelers.
That's true.
This year, I say dig deep, people. Romance is on the line. We must make creativity paramount when gift giving. I say raise the stakes.
Okay, why not dream in color with scrumptious sapphires, red velvet rubies, and a host of colorful gemstones from around the world?
Love it. Now amp it up a bit.
Well, in ancient times, smooching under the mistletoe was considered an aphrodisiac and believed to bring you luck in your love life. So why not hang the jewelry from the mistletoe and,
Hey, this is a family program.
Okay, regardless of your innovative presentation, a little special something from Bradley's always puts magic in the moment.
Like warm apples and cinnamon.
You betcha.
Want to see more? Shop online at bradleys-jewelers.com or visit our gallery in Fort Myers.
From a little bit of Kringle,
To some tingle in your jingle.
we've got you covered
Wrapped up and in the bag.
at Bradley's Jewelers.
Mwah.
And there you go. Oh, and there's you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, here we go. That's you.
You're
There you
back.
are.
Okay.
Okay.
Short-haired me.
Oops.
Oh, that was.
something's-
Yeah, I like that picture.
Yeah, that's a. It's it was a nice loop. Angus put it together because we got. I just got sick of being punished by the net Stapo for playing stuff that I was, copyright infringement in France and Belgium and 28 Nordic countries. It was just like, come on, guys, really?
So
I
play videos
decided
anymore.
to show talk about the guest or whoever it is, especially if it's somebody I've known for 30 years or would like to know for 30 years. It's just what?
time for questions.
Oh God! All right,
Okay, ready?
Yeah, I'm almost ready. So, just tell me what music is now for you with this craziness that we're doing. Is it like a lot of studio, or
Wait, say that again?
what's music been for you during this? This has been a crazy time. I haven't made a note of music in the same room with a human in 2
Well, I've been
years.
playing the whole time. I mean, except for when it was really bad. But even then, people sent me remote stuff for a while. But we started playing outside as soon as we played the first year we played outside all the way. We were playing into November, freezing our cojones.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been playing the whole time.
Well, wow, that's cool.
And then once there was vaccine. I mean, even before the vaccination, I was doing sessions in here with like masks, and everybody was wearing masks unless somebody was singing or playing a horn. And I have a door, like a fire escape over here that goes outside. It was like freezing winter, and I had the door wide open. I'm like, looked like it, like a Charles Dickens novel, like operating shit.
Aqualung or something.
Drones.
But, I mean, it's like you got to, we needed to work, or there's not an unlimited funds of, they weren't, there weren't funds for music studios, and there was some unemployment money, but it's not.
Yeah.
That's not paying my studio rent in New York City.
Right.
It's not paying
And we
anything.
had to work. I worked the whole time. And then we've been doing gigs. I mean, we've been playing the whole time. I mean, sometimes it's nervous. I mean, like I played with this guy, Scott Gerard, and, we played, we were doing as people did things outside as much as possible. But, people get, Scott just got Little Feet. He's touring with Little Feet right now.
Oh,
So
wow.
but hopefully some of these places are better about it than others. But, I just got vaxxed up and just hope for the best,
Yeah, well, listen, it's better to have all the weapons on your side. If you got to go out there, you go out there with everything you can carry, and it's
You don't really have
well,
much choice. It was go out there or go under.
Well, right, and I suppose, and so I'm guessing everybody took your temperature or looked for some kind of proof.
Temperature gun now I just yeah, we've been, some people still wear masks on gigs inside if they're not playing a horn, some don't. I mean, it's been a little trip, but yeah, we worked through, right. At first there was a bunch of remote stuff, what year is it now? It's 2021 when shit started.
Yeah.
2020, right, in March, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like that spring, summer, I mean, nothing happened for like 3 or 4 months at all. You know what I mean? Then I started doing remote stuff during that time, but then by the fall we started playing outside. And then by the winter of, in the beginning of this year, we were working, I mean, it was scary though. It was not great, but.
Well, listen, but sounds like you got through it okay. And, if you're,
I did. A lot of people didn't. I'm very sad. There's some great people. There was a friend of mine, Jerry Duggar, who's a great blues singer. He had a split town. There was this, there were no gigs. All his gigs dried up, and a bunch of people had a split town. And because that was a drag. Not everybody. Some really great players and people who are just not making the same kind of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we would hear about guys, for a while when things were really crazy in Florida, we would hear about guys losing the drummer because they had to stay out there playing or go under, and the drummer got COVID, and, 10 days later he was gone.
All right, that's no gloom.
Okay, yes, no gloom. No
Booker
gloom.
King, Booker King?
Yeah, do you know Booker?
Yeah, I know Booker.
Okay, he's in the room tonight watching, and he said that he loves Mighty Toad Studio.
Oh, dude. Well, me and Booker did we did this thing for Bill Sims, one of my favorite recordings I ever made. Hey, Booker, remember we did this thing. We ended up on a play in Broadway, and it was actually the climax of the first act of this play, and it was this guy, Bill Sims, I was mentioning before. And Bill looks at us, we're recording music for this play, and his Booker has his upright, I have my tenor, and he goes, all right, you're going to play a slow blues. And when I raise my hand, you're going to scream through the saxophone. And the first thing he did was raise his hand. I made this scream sound, and we did this awesome duo track, me and Booker, and it came out really great and it's a very emotional moment at the climax of this play. The protagonist's father is killed or dies, and he's weeping in this thing. And that was a great moment, one of the great moments in the studio with me and Booker.
Yeah, he says bass saxophone duet.
Tenor and sax and bass, upright bass. And like we were there on opening night on Broadway, like Michelle Obama was there. It was like a really trip to watch our music from this moment that and I didn't know what to make of it. I thought Bill was crazy, and I made this screaming sound in the horn, and that was so fun because the actors came up. We met a bunch of the actors after, and I was like, hey, great show, blah blah blah, complimenting on, and I was like, I'm the saxophone player. I played on the, and they go, you did the crying sax. They came up with they called it the crying sax.
Wow.
And that was a beautiful moment that me and Booker had in here. And I didn't, it was one of those ones, you don't know if it's going to come out. Like, I was like, what the fuck is this? But it turned out to be really effective. And Bill had a vision, and it was great. And,
well, let's see if Booker has a vision. Booker, peas?
Oh.
Booker, peas?
Booker's He came on our show over a year ago.
Yeah,
and he comes in almost every Friday.
On Fridays we do this thing called Free for All Friday, and really what this has been all about is, when I decided that I wanted to, throw my hat in the let's have pirate television, I knew I didn't want to tap dance or tell bedtime stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good, absolutely. So I started this thing, and one of the things that I love about touring, anywhere in the world, and you can be in Sweden and walk into a tent with a campfire made out of hash and see 10 guys that you know from different bands, and it's like, yes, and then the conversation begins.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to do the show in this format, because it's guys that I would never get to talk to or haven't spoken to in
Booker
decades.
has become a very good friend of ours, and we've never been in the same room.
So so Booker has become a regular on Friday nights, and he and I did this thing called Pass the Peas, where I laid down a drum part, sent it to Booker. Booker played a bass part that was so cool. Since I had cut to a grid, I could go back and replace the drums. And then we sent it around, and I just asked him if we should send it to you, and he said absolutely.
Booker's a great man, and he's also incredibly strong. I remember one of my first memories of Booker was we were playing at Terra Blues, this bar on the second floor in New York upstairs. I remember him just like very built individual, and I remember him carrying the giant bass amp in one hand and walking up the stairs with one arm. Like, I was like, oh my God, this guy's a beast.
Good guy to have on your side.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's a fine example of a human being. One of my favorites.
He really was. You should. You're definitely invited any Friday.
We had a birthday party for Booker's 90th.
Yes, Mother's 90th birthday. Not this past birthday, but a year ago. On the show, we had his mother on, and we're telling stories and talking baseball. It was cool. Yeah. So it's a good hang.
Yeah, we love Booker.
All right, so now are you ready for the career-defining questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Put your hand on the Bible. All right. Let's see, where am I? Okay, well, you've done some touring around, right? You've been to, here and there. Favorite restaurant, when you're going to Texas, Sonny's Barbecue or whatever it is, favorite restaurant on the road?
Well, I did think about the question. That's a really hard question. I mean, I know of, I have places if you're in Austin, you go to Stubbs or something. I don't even meet anymore, but I can tell you my favorite experience was in Lucca, Italy. That was by far my favorite. The drummer, I was playing with this woman, Dana Fuchs. Do you know Dana?
Yeah, I know Dana, sure.
So I was playing with Dana, and we were in Italy, and the drummer's from this town called Lucca, and we had a few days off, and we went to his uncle's place up in the hills. And the first day we went there, his uncle was like, no, we don't have time for you. We can't, your little nephew, your little pain in the ass. This dude was like one of these Northern Italian, his shirts was like beautiful shirts, really put together motherfucker. And he didn't let us eat there the first night. We came a couple nights later, and I told him I was from New York. And he's like, he goes into this whole thing about how all these restaurant people come from New York and steal his recipe food. And also, anyway, it was fantastic. That's my favorite food.
Wow.
No, that's a good one.
He wasn't lying then.
No, he certainly wasn't lying.
Yeah, we know Dana from the China Club.
Yeah, I know Dana for God. I've been on
the China Club days. Yeah. Shit, I remember I'm old too, man. I remember when the China Club.
I'm old too. Holy shit!
When I remember when the China Club was the game room, bro.
Oh,
really? Oh,
it was an old man bar called the Game Room, and it used to be, because I grew up in New York City, so that it used to be it was like an old man bar with chess tables and shit in there. So anyway,
wow.
So Carmine Rojas.
So yeah, then all the family. I
know some of them. I was young back then.
But we were all young back then. Hey, man, I'm not saying we lived hard, but I'm 48.
Well, you
Yeah.
look great, Craig. I don't know
Yeah.
how old you are, but you
Yeah,
look
it doesn't
great.
matter, man.
Well, I'm 53, but I've been doing it a long time. I remember that place, though. I remember doing gigs there.
Yeah, the one on
Yeah.
Broadway, right?
The one on 75th and Broadway.
Yeah, below the
Yeah,
Beacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it moved.
Yeah, because they had one
Miles
downtown.
Davis at the Beacon when I was a kid, and we went to the game room. I was, before
Yeah, amazing.
Cool.
or
That
after.
was
That was a fun time.
that was a moment in time, man. That was
Trip that
that was
place.
it was a and yeah. So you remember did you ever actually play China Club? I'm sure you did, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, I wasn't like, that wasn't quite my scene at that time, but yeah, I played there.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were great times. All right, so anyway, moving right
Okay,
along.
so Lucca, Italy.
Lucca, Italy, right?
Yeah.
We'll figure out the place.
Beautiful.
We'll track it down.
Well, ask Dana.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah, you got to ask Piero Pirelli, the drummer. It's his
Okay.
own point. Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, that'll happen in due course. Okay, set list comes out. Doesn't matter what band, doesn't matter what set, doesn't matter when. Set list comes out. You see the song. It's your favorite song to play live. What's that song?
God, I have no idea. Favorite song to play live?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you got all the right guys there.
I can't answer that because I think that's an unanswerable question because it depends what gig it is. I play so many different gigs, and for what's right for one band is not right. Even one night. No, I can't answer that. That's
Okay. You don't have to answer that.
So then you won't be able to answer this either. This is a set list comes out.
I can answer several if it's the worst song, the one you don't.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay,
well, that's
that's
next.
fair.
Yeah, so you don't want to ever
that.
see this song again. What song
I
is
can
that?
answer that. There's about 8 or 4, 6, something. I mean, what you really don't want to do anymore is I really don't want to play Sissy Strut if I don't have to. I played it with Leo Nocentelli. I know the right melody. Everybody plays it wrong. Even Leo has to play it wrong. That's a classic one that everybody plays the middle part wrong. It's ba 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 ba, not ba ba da 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 ba. That's wrong. The second way I just sang it. Everybody plays that. Even Leo has to play it wrong. He told me, So that's one. Like another one is like The Wait. I don't ever want to play The Wait again.
Oh,
I love the song, but it's just you have to play it so many times. And
Yeah.
a million singers, and who sings the Crazy Chester verse?
I do. I did.
It's a great song. It just gets tired. It's just like who wants to play that one?
Tired. If it was any more laid back, the blood would be rushing to its head.
Fucking, this guy Scott I play with, he had the idea that we should always do Sail on Sailor now instead, where people would do The Wait, it should be Sail on Sailor. So we're trying to push that as a replacement for when people do The Wait, and I don't know, that's an idea, but but I don't really want to play that one again.
I wish you all the luck in the world with that, and that's okay.
Pretty good.
The most popular
Yeah,
song that nobody wants to play, we've had 19 people say Brown Eyed Girl.
Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh, I don't mind that one so much.
You haven't played it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it I mean, obviously, if you're in the when we was back more playing blues and R&B every night, you don't want to play Mustang Sally. That's a torture
Yeah.
on that. But they're all these things are fairly obvious. It's those ones that you have to play a million times. What's interesting, can I tell you a side note to that? One time, there was a bunch of the ones that we always had to do in playing blues and R&B gigs. And like, for example, the Chicken Shack, there were instrumentals, things like Chicken Shack, Mercy Mercy, Sissy Strut. And this was back in the day, so I actually made a cassette of all these tunes that we had to do all the time like that. And I made a cassette of the original versions so that I can remember them correctly, not the bar band or wedding band way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I wouldn't lose the originals. Like there's an extra note in the that no one ever plays in Chicken Shack. And you go back and listen to it, there's a low note. It's ba 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 ba. No one ever plays that note, but
I get it.
yeah,
I
he
totally
plays it.
get it.
And so I always wanted to have that so I could remember the real version. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clark didn't want to play the chicken dance anymore.
Yeah, Clark. Yeah, he didn't want to play the chicken dance.
Really?
We had to go look that one up.
Yeah, we had to
figure
look
it out.
that up.
How much did he
Man,
play?
he was funny. We had a good time.
Oh, he was.
Well, okay. Shit. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, moving on in the questions that ruined my career. Let's see. So, sax player first. Was that what that?
Yeah.
That, so, all right. If you could absolutely rip at any other instrument than your own, what would it be?
Well, I've been doubling on keyboards for a while, so I mean, I'd like to rip better on B3 if I could.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do play it, but I mean, that's I'd like to play it better than I do.
Yeah, man.
My comping is okay. My comping is okay, but my solos have room for improvement.
Yeah, well, I grew up listening to Jimmy Smith and Felix Cavalier, and just at one extreme to the other, and everybody in between. And there's nothing like a B3 and a 122. Nothing.
Yeah.
And
That was the first gear that I got of all this stuff. Was I got a B3?
yeah.
But that's yeah. And I was on this gig with this dude, Pete Francis, and the keyboard player couldn't make the tour. And he was like, okay, you're the keyboard player. And I was like, oh God. And, when we went out, we're doing like a van tour, but, playing like 200, 250 people a night kind of rooms and stuff. And all of a sudden, out there every night playing keyboard.
Wow.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that's what defines a lifer. You know what I mean? You're in it no matter what, and you know the rules, and you know what to pack, and you know when to leave. And that's
I hope so.
that's the fun thing. Well, you get a little book. That's the fun thing about doing this show, is that anybody who cares to watch it hears us talking shop. And we don't have captions, that overdubs, or when you play an instrument onto, we don't. It's not that. It's just about you and me hanging, talking our thing. So I'm going to pass you some Booker P's. You got that, right?
Question.
I know.
Okay.
And you got to come in on Friday night.
Any Friday.
Any Friday. We've got guys. I mean, we liked the studio tour. That was cool.
Booker's been in every Friday except for 2, I think.
Booker's been hanging at the clubhouse a lot.
Yeah.
So, and it's a good hang. It's always funny. It's fun. So you're welcome anytime. And now for the end all be all question. I'll give you time to think. And it's weird. You're old too. That
You're old too.
I love
you
that.
You are not old.
You are not old. There is no such thing in this business.
Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, I'm old enough to remember that.
Okay.
And you are. No, you're. The thing that makes it fun.
I've been playing in New York since I mean, we got our first bar gig when I was 12 years old.
Yeah, but what year was that?
1980.
Okay, I did about the same, but it was 1963.
All right, well, you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
But the thing that was so cool about it.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But why it matters, it doesn't matter. But why it matters is it's your relationship to the way it was, to the way it is, and
when you see,
how that shapes what it will be.
With 40 years of playing now, which is, I mean, look, I remember playing, I did gigs with Eddie Swanston in his 80s, okay, who played with Louis Armstrong, you know what I mean? Like, so, I'm not saying, but when you get a few decades, yeah, you get enough time to see an arc of things. Also, I mean, I recorded records before digital and then watched digital come in. And then, so that was from that, there's that's enough to see a substantial.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, that's the only reason that somebody's age matters to me is, with regard to reference, and because anybody can go back and study what it was like before Beethoven, and then and we can all, but if you were there before there was Beethoven, and then all of a sudden there was Beethoven, the impact would be completely different. So for you, your arc is just about at the end of where you can be and still be rooted in all the old stuff, the pre-synth, the early stuff, and
pre-digital. I think that's a big demarcation line.
Yeah.
Also, in Europe before another line. I mean, I think like if you think of the '60s when all the multi-track starts happening, before multi-track and after multi-track, that's a big jump. Also, just like when I talked to the guy who taught me stuff, Rob Verboni, I mean, they were inventing stuff as they were making these records. That's an incredible time, and how audio changed in the '60s. I mean, and obviously the whole culture, everything. But so if you live before that, that's a huge one.
Yeah. Well, I did my first recordings at Warner Brothers in the Brill Building when it was 4 tracks in 1968.
Wow.
And when we wanted to take. It was great because the head engineer wound up being our front of house guy for 25 years. So you know how important that is, right? And after we recorded all the different stuff that we were going to do, he said, "All right, here you go." And he had a Scully lathe, and he cut us acetates so we could take the shit home.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So yeah. So all right. So let me give you the last question, and then. I smell dinner burning. If you could play one show with anybody or any group of guys, living or dead, who would it be?
Well, that was another one of those ones. But I'll tell you, lately, I could, if I could go back in time and play with one person or just be involved with one person, it would be Claude Debussy.
Oh, the classical composer.
Yeah, that guy. He was what a genius. I mean, that music, nothing repeats. It's amazing. I mean, that guy was so heavy. The more I listen to him, the more I'm amazed. And his harmony and the way he changed music, I mean, was such a deep. And I mean, there was Ravel and other guys. If you want to geek out on the classical thing, there's other guys in that time who were changing.
What period was that? What period was he?
It's like mid to late 1800s, right?
I think I know him because
I know. I mean, I'm not a musicologist, but I mean, it's that late 1800s, and man, that guy. I mean, like the biggest other guy that would change. I mean, it would be, if I had a close second, it would be Miles Davis, and the reason is Miles changed music about 4 fucking times. I mean, things after Miles was with Bird, and bebop changed his jazz that way. Then he, each one of Miles' groups was so influential in changing the genre. But Debussy changed music globally, and the jazz guys listened to him and copped harmony from him. So for me, that music is so timeless. And it changed harmony. I mean, it's modern classical stuff, I'm going to have to pay attention.
I'm going to have to pay attention to that because I remember my mother played classical, and I remember she had sheet music, on the piano bench, and I saw more than one book, and I don't know that I was old enough to know the difference between one composer or another, but I heard them all, and it was... So I'm going to go back and take a look. It changes. Before him, the harmony is more obvious, and then it gets way more sophisticated after him. And then then you get these like 12-tone guys like Berg and what's his name? I'm spacing right now. Schoenberg and guys like that are doing this 12-tone stuff, which gets where there's no key center at all 12 tones of an equal value and way cerebral. So it's Debussy's sort of somewhere in between the old guys and the new guys. Me, so, it just flips me out. I mean, I never get tired of it, and it's pretty great. So I don't know. Maybe you have some. I'll send you a link of my favorite. That would be cool. That would be cool.
And I am favorite pieces.
And I am absolutely sending you the Stephen Booker peas. So, we'll give you something to keep you awake. A little extra time.
Well, I have this mix. I got this mix and work on these dudes from Denmark. I got to get back to.
Okay.
Well, this isn't due until I think Sony needs this by Friday. It's cool. You got time.
Yeah. Well,
No,
the Bucks are right. We'll make time.
Yeah, no, you believe
No,
me,
this
I
is
know
just
how
for
it
fun.
works. No, it is. It's the real core of why we do it. And thank you, man, for being
Thanks
here,
for
Craig.
me. It was fun. I hope you like the studio tour.
No, that was
yeah,
great. That's
great.
we love that. We've seen. I have guys that call in from gigs and showing us how shitty the dressing room is. I mean, it's about the people that will never get to see. You and I take this for granted. It's what we do. We eat, sleep, and drink. It's our life. But the people never get to see this part of it. They
Some
get
of
to,
them do. Booker.
Yeah, of course. But
Well, I
you
hope
know
they.
what I'm saying. So
I mean, I one last thing, and I really definitely should go. But I've been meaning to do this thing. Like I was thinking about doing a thing about like a sort of a tape seminar, because some of these I meet these younger guys who are younger than me, who never worked on tapes, and they're interested in it. And I was going to do this. A couple of guys said they wanted me to do, and I never think like that. I just make records and I just do what I'm going to do. To be a teacher is kind of like, oh, who am I to be? But like it would be a fun thing to do, to sort of just go through and show them what I know about recording to tape and how it works and how to do azimuth and how to align it, so people understand that, it's a hard thing, and bias and stuff, and, really geek out. Some people really want to geek out on the tape thing and why it's, so that was the thing I was thinking about doing, it, that I should, now that we're talking, maybe I should do again. Maybe it'd be fun for people to see, do like sort of an online thing where
I'm sure there's somebody out there that would care about it, and it's certainly worth talking about, because otherwise it's just going to go away. And if we don't have somebody keeping that that small,
you should get fucking, if people were interested in that thing, you should get Dan Zellman. He was the repair. I mean, this dude worked for Studer. He's the repairman. He's down in the basement of Sear Sound. Zellman is, I think he doesn't always tell exactly how old he is. I think he's older than he says, but don't quote me on that. But he's been around forever, and he's still alive, and he knows everybody, recorded everything. That would be an interesting. I would
love to have him. That would be great.
He's got tape machines that the Beatles used in the basement of Sear Sound. I mean, he can fix anything. He knows everything, and he's still around. I mean, I would get Zellman on the show. That would be fascinating.
I'll have Angus track him down,
or Matt Wells, if he would do it. Matt Wells.
No, I don't Matt. No, Matt. No.
Matt Wells is like, what an amazing tube amp repair guy and studio guy. There's Blackie Pagano too, and Bob Schuster. Some of these repair guys. I mean, that would be, for me, like I would geek out watching that. I love the repair guys a lot. So they have amazing stories, and they know the stuff from this other. You really want to get into. These are the guys I just mentioned. Bob Schuster. They call him Midnight Bob. Dan Zellman.
No, that's not
Night Bob.
Bob.
Oh yeah.
No, Bob Schuster is a fucking genius. All of these guys are genius. Blackie Pagano, great. He's a very dear friend. And tube amp guy, he's fucking genius. And Matt Wells. I mean, like, you go into Matt Wells and there's like Keith Richards amps are there. You know what I mean? Like his 4 Tweed twins. And he's repairing. And he was the repair guy at the Magic Shop for forever. And he's a very entertaining guy. I'd like to just go hang with him in his shop if he lets me. We used to do. Sometimes he let me bring repairs at midnight, and we go in there at midnight, and I just go. I'd love to. I'd be like, dude, I'll sit there, and that guy will fascinate you.
Wow.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would be
cool.
Those shows are shows I would watch.
Okay, well, listen, we'll try to make that happen,
Yeah.
and we'll let you know
Real
when we
studio
do.
geeks in there.
Hey, man, there's not. Listen, I beat things with a stick for a living, but I love the gear, man. I love the gear. I love the sounds. I love the theory. It's really, I'm in it. I think I'll probably do it, for another at least week or two. No, it's been good. Hey, man, thank you for being here, Craig.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Nice to meet you, producer lady.
Lori.
Lori,
Wherever you
yeah.
are.
Night, Craig.
Yeah. Good.
Good night. Take care. Thanks so much.
Happy
All right, we'll
Thanksgiving.
see ya. Have a good holiday, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right,
Talk
see ya.
soon.
Good night.
How do I turn this up?
So now I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were.
It was great.
Yeah, he was great. And you see, that's the stuff. It's when you get down to it when people are passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm sure him and Vader would get along well.
Oh, they would cancel each other out.
Yeah.
No, but Fader's a
Hit
guitar.
the start button. Thank you, Lori.
Oh, Lori, sweetheart. Thank you. Well, listen, I could go on and on, but that's another guy who just lives it and breathes it. And the thing about it is, you don't have to look very far
Start button.
Again?
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, okay, Michael. Here we go. See, and
Yeah.
here comes. It says right there. It says all you need to know.
Well, that was very fun.
So, yeah.
He was very intelligent.
Yeah, it was but because he knows about the stuff and he cares about it, and why his age mattered is, he was there. I mean, he was there for the crossover, and he was one
Hit
of
it
those.
again. Thanks, Pat.
Oh, hit it again.
What is this,
B29. B29.
Oh, thank you all.
B.
Okay.
Older than 12.
Tomorrow night, we have, Doug Hoshlerin.
Oh, you're not going to kill somebody else.
I don't want to do another Al DeMella.
Hockelran?
Okay, and he was in Mazarin. The singer and guitar player for Mazarin.
So I remember them. I mean, they were, so that'll be like a Long Island thing, I think.
Yes.
I remember them.
I think it's Doug Hoshlerin.
Okay.
Okay? Singer and guitar
I mean,
player.
I can't trust the way you read whatever Angus tells you to write down.
All right.
And I don't want to, but this guy's name is probably Fitzpatrick or something.
No, it's not.
No, I don't know.
Okay, well,
Well,
I
what?
have to go and cook.
That's it. Okay, well, she has to go and cook, and I have to go and not cook. I have to go and wait to eat. So, on that happy note, who is it tomorrow? Oh, Mazarin. That's. If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.